Once you've logged into Brightspace, you're going to want to access one of your courses. You can see those courses in the My Courses widget that's right here. But if you can't find a course that you're wanting to work with, you have 4 Sandbox courses that are created that have no students in them and you can play around with and develop inside there. If you can't find those Sandbox courses, come up here to where it says select a course and type in Sandbox. Now I'm going to type in Sandbox 121 and then I'm going to pin this. You can just type in Sandbox and you should see 4 that have your name on it. That course will then show up underneath here where it says Sandbox Course 121. I can unpin that if I don't want to use it, but instead I'm going to click inside here and go into my course. Now there's 3 basic places you can modify inside this course to personalize it. The nav bar, which is this list of icons up here, the banner, which is the image and the text here, and then the widget section, which are all these rectangles that have different pieces of information in there. To modify the nav bar, what we're going to do is hover over the nav bar and you see the 3 dots that come up here. Select the 3 dots and then customize this nav bar. You'll then select, yes, I want to work with a copy of this nav bar. Inside here, you can give this nav bar a title. I'll call it Gomes nav bar. And then I can modify the links. So I can either remove links by clicking on the X, and I would do this if I'm not going to use that with my students at all. I can also reorganize them to show the importance of them. So if I'm going to have my students in virtual classrooms and accessing content a lot, I might front load those ones in the list. I can also remove the icons so that it just shows the names. But if you want to put those icons back in, just check off Enable Icon-Based Navbar, and they'll show like they are up here. Okay. When you're satisfied with that, or if you're satisfied with that, you can just click Save and Close or Save. But you can also add other links inside here. If you select Add Links, you can find that there's actually a lot of other types of links you may want to include. 2 that I use frequently are calendar and class progress. Check off those, select Add, and then now those are right in the nav bar. You can also create your own links by selecting Add Links and then Create Custom Link. This will allow you to put in the name of whatever you want your link to be called, the URL, so maybe it's something like My Blueprint or OneNote Classroom, something like that. And then you can come down here, upload an icon, and then select Create, and it will be inside of your navbar. Select Save and Close, and your navbar is completed, updated, and ready to be used in your class. The next part is the banner. So you can change the banner image by selecting the hovering over the banner, selecting the 3 dots, and then either changing image, removing the banner, or customizing the text. To change the image, select Change Image. You can find a number of pictures that load up right now, or you can search different topics. So if I want this to be math, I select math, hover over that, use this image, and it'll update that for me. I can then go in, customize the banner text, and if I want to say, welcome to class, save, then it will update that text. This is also the place where you can use replace strings. So if you want, instead of just having welcome to class, you can use these squiggly brackets and type in first name, and that will now personalize it and say welcome to class, David. If you don't want this banner and think it just takes up too much real estate, then click on the 3 dots and go remove this banner. You can always undo that at a later time. Now these are widgets here, and they're just rectangular sections of the page that will provide your students with different information. If you want to modify the order of these widgets, you can, but you don't have to. You just have to know what it is they do and if you're going to use them. If you're not going to use both announcements and activity feed, then I would suggest removing one of them. To do that, you have to copy this homepage. So you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, select the 3 dots, and you're going to have to go to Manage Homepages. From there, scroll down a little bit until you find Course Default, which is right here. Click on the drop-down arrow and then select Copy. Once you've selected Copy, you've copied that, which we can see right there. And so now we're going to have to go up to the top where this little default drop-down is. We're going to select Course Default Copy and then select Apply. This is now enabling that homepage that you've just copied to be the one that you're using. And that's now the course homepage that you own and can edit. So now if we scroll down on that course homepage, select the three dots, we can now edit this homepage. And inside here, we can drag and drop any of the widgets that we have. You can see the layout where there's just rectangular sections. And I can drag things like updates up to the top here so that it will be a whole screen, or at least the whole horizontal screen. I can move my announcements around if I'd like. I can remove things. So if I don't want my calendar, I can remove that. If I don't want the content browser, I can remove that. And then I can add widgets anywhere as well. If I select add widgets, very similar to the adding links, you'll be able to see what these widgets are. So if I want to add in the calendar widget here, I can add that in and it will be that long. When I'm satisfied with this, or if I actually want to change the layout, I can do that up here. Now, I tend to favor the large left panel, and I can put something up at the top or at the bottom along the whole screen. But you can always change this layout if you want by clicking on here and either going basic, which would remove the top and the bottom part, or just one long panel. It really depends on what the experience you want your students to have in the class is. When you're done, click Save and Close, and all of that should be updated in there. You can see here, my updates is now a long bar, which maybe you probably don't want that. I would probably keep that over on the right-hand side, but you can see my calendar is now below here. Okay. I would just try and make sure that you're not overwhelming your students with the number of widgets that you have on here. And also keep in mind, if you're going to be posting announcements using the announcements tool, then those are going to be showing 5 or 6 announcements. And so that could be a very long widget that's showing. Now, announcements and activity feed are actually somewhat similar, but a little bit different. When I go to create an announcement, what's going to happen is I basically put a title in, and then it's almost like a Word document where I can type whatever I want. I can insert stuff that would be like links to different things or a video note, or I can insert images. But you also have all these options like bold, left, indenting, bullets, coloring, font changes, and you can post messages to your students that way. You can upload files and insert YouTube videos that are embedded in there. And the announcements tool is actually a very robust tool that you can use. Activity feed, on the other hand, very similar, but when you create a post here, you can either create an assignment or a message directly from here. You can't create an assignment from announcements. But if you try to create a message, you don't have all those fancy tools. You've got a few of them like bold, italics, underline, bulleting. You can put some emojis in there if you want to, but you also have the ability to allow for comments. Students can comment on these and you can comment back. Or if you uncheck that, students can't comment. Here, you can attach files directly from your computer or from links or from your OneDrive files. Okay, you can then post that or post it at a different time, which is similar to the announcements. So again, when you're thinking about personalizing your course, you want to think about the student experience. You want to think, what do I need to do to make sure that my students are not going to be hindered in this virtual environment and that their learning is going to be enhanced by whatever I have on the screen?